Hey guys, welcome to Beyond the Close podcast, where I'm joined by the wonderful Sharni. G'day, Sharni.
G'day, Kris.
And we've also got the amazing Matt Quixley here. How are you today, Matt?
I'm good, man. Yeah, thanks for having me again. Keen to chat and unpack a few things like we like to do.
We love to unpack things on Beyond the Close, and today what we're going to be unpacking is the common misconceptions around high ticket sales, because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions out there about remote sales. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, we pick it up. I know Sharni gets it probably more from the business standpoint, speaking to candidates and people out there, a little bit sort of sus. So, yeah, I think we've got a pretty good list, man. It'll be good to hear, each other's take on it and hopefully change some people's beliefs about, what's out there and what can actually be done.
And I've got a list of 5. Now, there are 5 really key misconceptions out there. And I'm going to start with probably one that we hear the most, which is, I've sold real estate, and I've been a good real estate agent, so I can get in and close. I can get a gig, and you could insert any other profession here. You could sell solar, it could be cars. I've been a top performer in this industry, fitness, and so give me a job as a closer. This is a bit of a misconception, isn't it, guys?
It definitely is. I get this one a lot. And whilst all of those backgrounds are fantastic foundation for high ticket sales, it's definitely something when I'm screening applications, if someone's done that in the past, that's a great start. Like, you've got a lot of skills that are transferable, but it's a huge calibration to get it right in high ticket. And I think the misconception with it is that you've got skills that are useful, but you may not know how to actually deploy them properly to succeed in a role. And in high ticket, it's not like real estate where you prospect for your own opportunities. So there's no cost to the business really aside from your time if you burn a lead. But in high ticket, sometimes leads can cost, what's a typical lead?
Like $500 a
couple
booking,
$100.
$200
Yeah,
a
I
booking.
mean, leads can be, $10 to $50, and a call can be, 50 to 300, 400, sometimes 500, depending on the offer.
So if you're sitting in a couple of those $500 calls where the business owner has literally forked out $500 for you to turn up and close, and you don't close, they're going to get rid of you pretty quickly, and they're not going to be super happy about it. So there's not too much room for error. And I think a lot of people who have been in different industries don't quite grasp that. And that's what I see on a lot of interviews anyway.
Yeah, just to speak that further, people I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's say we put you in your dream job now as a closer, like walk me through your day. Like, obviously I hear it, sometimes from the business standpoint, but more from the candidate standpoint as well with you guys. And they can't say, like, they get flustered. It's like, oh, just take the calls. Okay, what do you do? How are you opening the call? What do you do? Like, if you're late for the call, how are you going to set it up? Walk me through your process to collect it. What's your close rate, your lead to sale rate? You got some call recordings you can sort of demonstrate. How much commission have you made in a remote sense? So it's just making them think without saying, hey, you can't do it, but you've never done it as well. So like what you said, Sharni, like there's some base level skills and stuff as well, but it is just so different. You know what I mean? A lot of the time it's not a tangible product. They're not coming in there. Very tight turnaround times, like you said as well, like rather than 3 to 6 months probation period to figure it out. You got 3 to 6 weeks, if that, sometimes too. If you're dropping the ball, it's a flat start, leads are cooked, the business owner's got you in the crosshair, other salespeople are resenting you because they only want A players on the team. Why is he getting leads? I want to make more commission. So things can spiral really, really quick. So, yeah, it's like the chicken and the egg. Like, you've got some of the skills, but how are you actually going to be able to demonstrate that you can do it too, and have a really quick turnaround time? Like, sometimes, offers under 5K, typically 70% of the time it's a one call close. And then 5 to 10K, a third of those calls can be one call close. Then what do you do next? How do you not burn them too? You're not just trying to, wring their neck and get the sale done. So if you don't have that experience and don't have the framework to sort of set it up, then you just won't make it. It's as clear as that. I'd happily be like, hey, prove me wrong, but how many times have 80% of salespeople in those first 3 months, they just get spat out, and I can tell pretty quick if they're going to make it or not. Again, what they're doing on the calls and off it, and the learning curve. Once you crack it, it can be 3 or 4 months. It changes really quick, but lot of the time it doesn't happen. And then that's like, oh, remote sales, it doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
not a career, you know. It's more the industry rather than themselves.
Well, even interviewing, like I ask very specific questions on an interview, and I can tell pretty quickly if someone actually knows about remote sales or they don't. Like if you ask someone about, I don't know, for setters, you know, show rates, and they're like, they don't even know what that is. Like a business owner is going to expect that you know what a show rate is and why it's important for them to hire you. A lot of people don't know that. So there's just even little bits of jargon that people just have no idea about it because they've never come across it. But a business owner is going to ask you about that on an interview. And if you don't know even what that is, then it's very unlikely that they're going to hire you and expect you to perform well against those metrics.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think just the way of selling, it's the dark arts. It's a just different type. I mean, there's sales and then there's sales. There's ball sports, and then there's how many ball sports are there? How many types of ball sports are there? How many types of selling or sales situations are you gonna be in as a salesperson? And could you perform in every single type of situation? Now, for me personally, I found this myself when I made that transition to high ticket. I was the accomplished fitness sales guy who had built a reasonably successful business, and part of the reason it was successful at the time was because
We've undercooked that a bit.
it did okay, but and the reason why it did okay was because I was so bloody good at selling and also teaching people how to sell. That was my jam, and I was teaching my reps, my sales fitness professionals how to sell. We built a big business because of that. I became a sales coach, trainer. I went and after that business didn't go so well in the end, I went and trained other people on how to sell and became a sales trainer. And then I got into this high ticket world and jumped on a call that was booked in my calendar by some punter who'd clicked on a Facebook ad and watched the video and had landed in the calendar. And getting to the end, and now it's a crescendo. We've sort of taking the prospect on a journey, getting to the end, thought everything's going good, relying on my relationship skills, which is really what held me in good stead in the gym. Thought I'd sort of really built that relationship and that was going to be enough. And, get to the end and, I need to think about it. In the gym, because you're there in person and because you build such a strong relationship, and because even with gym sales, you're able to take them out on the gym floor, give them that tangible experience. It was just on the call. I mean, I just had no leverage, and I just felt lost and at sea, and didn't have anywhere to go with it. And then that one call turned into the first sort of 50 calls, and it was I really struggled, and so I personally had to do a lot of focus training and upskilling from where I was as this accomplished fitness kind of sales trainer to master just becoming a closer in high ticket, selling high ticket coaching programs. And then I've seen it dozens, maybe, I don't want to say 100, I've seen it dozens of times with reps that I've hired personally. Hired reps from different industries who've
Business
sold,
owners.
who come with really good, like awesome communication skills, awesome experience. And I've thought, no, I'll help these guys transition. And initially I wasn't able to because I was still getting my skills up to scratch, and let alone teaching someone else to do it. So I saw a lot of people bomb out. But then as I became accomplished at this skill, I had to train a lot of people and put a lot of time into people to help them make the transition when I was a manager, when I was leading a sales team, who simply would never have made it otherwise at all. And then I saw a bunch of people who they weren't going to make it, and we had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But other industries, super experienced, super accomplished, excellent real estate agent, fantastic business owner, excellent fitness salesperson who crushed it in that space, but then they came to high ticket and just were like me and all at sea. So, yep, you can, play golf, but if Tiger Woods was to take his golf club to Wimbledon, it's still a ball sport. You're holding a stick in your hand, but you took your driver, your one wood, down to Roland Garros, you might not win the tournament. So That's what I have to say about that. So that's the first thing. It's certainly a different type of selling. And so your sales skills, like you said, will be useful, but there's a lot of calibration to get it right. So number 2, it's risky because a lot of roles are commission only. So there's 2 kind of angles to this one, because a lot of high ticket roles are commission only, contract. I think a lot of people might be a bit fearful of that because it feels risky. What do you have to say about that one, Sharni?
I think there's 2 parts to that as well. Like, it's risky because I almost feel like there's this sentiment or this belief for a lot of people that most high ticket businesses are like these scammy online businesses almost. Like, they're not real businesses. And I think often it's not until candidates interview with our clients that they actually go, oh, wow, these are like real companies. It's a lot of people feel like it's like, high ticket is you're a contractor, commission only, you only get paid for like what you do, and the businesses are not super legit, is what I see a fair bit with people who are kind of exploring the space. So I think the first thing is that most of the roles that I recruit for, pretty much all of them, are a base salary plus commission. A lot of the closing roles, so a lot of the, very high earning potential roles are commission only. But if you're a setter, it's more common that you're going to be paid a base. And the other part to the risk that I see is that, I'm commission only, I can get sacked at any time. If you're in a probation period on a normal role, you can get let go at any time if you're not performing. Like, it's no different to being in a position where you are a full-time employee and you're in a probation period. So making that shift, I think a lot of people are a little bit hesitant about making the jump into high ticket, but it's really the same as if you were to quit your office job and accept another office job. Like, you've really got the same risk. There's no real difference.
You're just working from home.
Yeah.
And you are selling something a bit different. You might be entering a different team environment, but the way you're employed and the way you're remunerated is very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's understanding like businesses exist on predictability. So every business you're selling for, they've got obligations. They've got their PAYG and stuff happening too. So they need X amount of dollars on leads, 100K leads coming in. Based on that, they've got a formula they have to hit. So it's not like, hey, commission only, you're in the trenches, you're not making any commission this month. If you have 1, 2, 3 0 days, I'm not going to say 0 days don't happen, but there's going to be alarm bells ringing. You're going to have the CEO calling you, marketing meetings left, right, and center because something's off. It's either your capacity as a closer's off, the setter's off, the VA's off, but the formula's there. So as much as it can be a bit scary at first with that commission-only sense, is like you're part of a bigger equation. Yeah. So you have to succeed. If you got the skills, you will. It'll just happen. You've got to have faith of that process, and that's where people can be a bit scared. But I think it's just great. Like I said, you got the employee round. If you want a bit more security, capped commissions typically and whatever. But compared to running a business, we've got like lease obligations and outgoings and all the rest of it. To be a contractor where you can be nimble, they're paying for leads, the CRM, email, all the rest of it. They have to, for them to be successful, you have to be successful too. So you got that buy-in factor as well. And you just have to deliver. I know you said as well, Kris, is like an athlete, just stay in your peak performance consistently. So then there is no risk. When you actually write it down on paper and look at that sort of formula like that, they succeed, you succeed, unless the business goes under, again, which very, very rarely happens and can happen anyway. That's it. And no one gets paid and you don't get your super and this and that and the other. So I think it's just like stepping back and thinking about too, again, from the business standpoint, you have to win for them to win. It's not like, you're not performing, it's sort of done and dusted. So big point as well.
I think there's a lot of benefits to both arrangements as well, because we're seeing a lot more, like you say, a lot more businesses. I mean, when I got into this 7 years ago now, there was probably a much higher bias towards commission-only roles. And what I've seen a trend towards is more businesses are looking to hire internal. They're wanting internal reps. They've got predictable lead flow. Mm-hmm. They've got a validated offer, and they want people on their bus. They want to bring the team internal. And so, but then, you know, you still have businesses who want to share the risk. And, you know, if you're not making money, then neither are they.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're both incentivized to make
it
work.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not risky, and it can be very unrisky if you're on a good offer that has good lead flow, that's has a lot of validation, and it's a high ticket price. You can earn
It's a
lot of
dream. It's
cash.
just to work as much as you want and do whatever you want the rest of the time. That's what it's all about.
It's all about results.
Mhm.
Results, not time. But, you know, the employee route is great as well because, you know, easier to get money for finance. So there's many benefits to both. All right, number 3, it's all about the money. It's all about cash. Coming into closing, getting into sales. It's all about earning heaps of cash. This is a misconception because there are many reasons why people get into high ticket sales, and I think money is not actually at the top of that list.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, a lot of freedom and stuff as well. We've had some people, again, they were in that role for a long time. Again, real estate or solar, they're making 40, 50, 60K a month. Yeah, you can do that in remote, but they can get rid of the tolls and the travel and headaches and no shows when you're physically there and it's a 35-degree day and whatever it might be. Like the lifestyle play is huge. More time off, you got an internet connection, phone, computer, you're ready to go, and a really good offer. Like you can literally, somewhat like a lot of my best friends are people I've worked for, you know what I mean? They're aligned, they're entrepreneurs, you know, you're learning from them, growing, you have a beer and a dinner, you know, so there's so many different reasons why it can just be very, very fulfilling role.
Yeah. A big one for us is being able to work at home with Indy, like being able to spend more time with family. We see that a lot with candidates and students, is that they don't want to, I mean, particularly those in real estate. I've seen a lot of candidates actually recently, young people who have worked as an associate in real estate and just watched their boss have no life, get divorced, not see their kids, have a heart attack because they're so unhealthy. And they've just gone, like they've realised, and good on them for having the foresight to recognise it, but that's not where I want to be. And the harder that I work in this industry and the better that I get, the more it requires of me. And so I'm not going to choose that path. And they find high ticket and choose to go down that path instead, which the more skillful you get in high ticket, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, because I'm not a closer, the more skillful you get in high ticket, realistically, the less you have to, like the better return on your time investment that you get.
Yep. And it makes you look outward. Like, cool, I'm on a great offer. I love my bosses, my colleagues. I'm helping people. I believe in the offer. You have that line in the sand, whatever that is for you, 20K a month, 30K a month. Say, cool, I'm not going to chase the golden goose and work weekends or stay up till midnight. What else do? You look outward. So you go your friends, your family, you get them into high ticket. That's what happens. And then you change their life. They can give their kids a education they thought might not be able to afford, or buy a property if they were told they're never going to get one. So it can be very, very rewarding. It doesn't have to be like, I want to be $1 million closer. You find the line in the sand. Yeah, obviously everyone in sales has a drive there. We're not going to be ignorant and pretend that doesn't exist. But beyond that, you can just, there's so many different options within the space too. So it's like, do you want to be on an offer where you can make 40K a month, but you're staying up late at night thinking about, have I done the right thing? Or one that's 20K a month and literally you've got to decline friends requests because people are just loving you so much and just want to hang out with you and build a relationship, which I think is a good problem to have. So yeah, there's a lot where you're just helping people in different ways, your own personal life and people on the offer as well.
Yeah, I think the flexibility of the remote work is the key. That's the main reason that people are wanting to get into remote sales, go from selling real estate to selling in a at home or in Bali or Thailand or wherever you want to be, Portugal.
Before I was in this space as well, like before I was recruiting in this space and really, really deeply in it, I actually thought that like the high ticket closer was kind of what you see on Instagram as well, like the watches and the smoking cigars and stuff like that. And I've actually never met anyone like that in this space, whether I just repel them because they don't want to hang out with me.
I saw an ad. There was an ad recently. There's a new guy who's popped up. There's an ad that was up.
Oh, well, we've seen that. Yeah, but I don't know
watch.
him.
He's got, you see his watch.
Day in the life of a remote closer.
Five different angles of his watch. Which
you've got a nice watch.
Which was a nice watch. It was good on him for having a great watch. And I didn't wear my watch today, unfortunately. So there's no evidence of me being a closer, unfortunately. So I'm a bit of a fraud today. Okay, closing that one out. The next one is it's all about closing because it's remote closing is all about getting the prospect in a headlock and forcing them their credit card out of their wallet, taking the numbers and doing the runner and forcing them to do something that maybe they don't feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And hard closing, pressure. It's all about the close. Now, this is a big misconception because most of selling, just like most of leadership or anything with people to people, it is mostly about building relationships and displaying true value and showing value for the product that you're selling. And I think the key differences with selling what we sell is the way we sell value is a lot different. The way we build relationships is different because you're over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that. You're not leveraging your face-to-face connection or being belly to belly and being able to see all of their mannerisms and match and mirror. If you're on a phone call or on Zoom, it's much more nuanced. There's a bit more skill involved, I think, to really drop into instant trust, to build a quick relationship. I think that's a big skill. And then the value that we sell isn't the product. We're not sort of there to pitch the product and talk about the bells and whistles and everything it can do from every angle and just, talk at the prospect for the whole call. It's the value that we provide a prospect it's the solving of a problem, and it's finding the painful problem first. It's finding that compelling reason that they need to change or that they need to do something, that they need a solution. Really, I guess, outlining, amplifying the vision that they've got, making it feel really compelling as well. Maybe they haven't even thought about their vision in the way that we've asked the questions. Same for the problem. They haven't thought about their problem, that it was so urgent and so painful, I guess, if because they haven't explored it in the way that we've helped them to explore it on a call. And then it's the solving of the future pain as well, preventing the future pain that's going to happen and bringing a light to the future pain. So in my mind, the value that we're selling is the solving the problem, preventing the future problem, and helping them gain that current gain.
Yeah, courage, to do that too. I think to your first point as well, where you said you got on an offer, Kris, and wasn't working out. It's all trust. And people can be, cocky salesperson. You've got to be able to establish trust in a very short period of time. That's why the industry exists. That's why it's not like, hey, join this course 5K on the website. They don't trust it. There's not enough there. They want to be the human to unpack it, to go through it. You're in my shoes, I'm in yours. And a lot of it's there. And to be able to fully trust them and not want anything from them. You can jump on a call, and I know if I've built a deep relationship, they're not going anywhere. I can call them in 3 weeks. They'll take my call. They'll book up. The deal will come through when it comes through. I think you can put that sort of hook with inside someone, and there's no arm twisting or, pressure, like you say, just push it too.
Making
But
them
can
feel
you build trust? There is that elephant in the room, whatever. This is a sales call, whatever. You can call it out. You can leave it, however comfortable they are with it too. Yeah, there's business expectations, leads in your calendar. You got to close out 80% of them within 30-day cycles. You got to be comfortable with that. There is this artificial pressure for you to get paid the business too well. You can't pass that on to. And again, you pass that on, you're desperate, trust is gone, but that's exactly what you were saying earlier in that first piece, Kris. Is like people think they can build trust in that environment, but they can't. You get off those first few calls, you didn't close them. They're not taking your calls. They're not showing up to follow up. They're not going to give you 10K over the phone or bring their wife on a Zoom next time because they don't like you, they don't trust you. So they
don't trust you because most salespeople sell like salespeople.
Yeah, that's it, man.
That's where they don't have trust because salespeople are not trusted. So how can you say you've got trust and you've got a relationship when you sell like a salesperson? And that's the key point. That's the key challenge. That's the key blocker that prevents a lot of salespeople from making their transition into the space is because they don't have trust. They don't build trust. And because people see them as a salesperson, they think they're trying to sell them. So, they like you, but they don't trust you. Yeah. They like you. You're likable. They don't trust you. They wouldn't. Yeah, and they get off the call. You call them back. They're not going to pick up because they think you're going to try to sell them.
Yeah.
They don't want to be sold. I'll screen that call, and that's where you get ghosted. And so, getting ghosted, a
That's
lot
on you.
is the sign of an untrusted salesperson, really.
Yeah.
And a prospect who feels like trying to close them. But there is closing involved in high ticket closing, so you have to be able to close as well. You have to be able to close the sale. But this trying to close the sale without all the stuff that leads up to the close is like that meme where they've got there's that door and it's being held shut by the twisty. Have you seen that?
No, I hadn't
Where
seen
they've
that.
put the twisty through the lock to hold the door closed. But for those people who might not know what a twisty is, it's
Chip.
It's like a chip. So
Potato
chip
Cheesy delight.
twisties. Therefore, you got to hold the door shut, or a band-aid on a bullet wound. Maybe that might be a better analogy. That okay. Final misconception for high ticket sales is it's just a side hustle. It's just something that it's not really a career. You can't really forge a long-term career out of this. It's sort of more of a side hustle or a short-term play. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it feels so wild to me because I feel like I'm in such a different world to the general public these days because I spend my whole day interviewing candidates and speaking to business owners who are, some of the candidates that I'm working with have been doing this career for like almost 10 years, some of them longer. And so my reality is so different to, I guess, the kind of average person now. I also see a lot of people who have spent a lot of time in a career that they never really enjoyed, or built a business that they felt kind of shackled to and caged in and, ultimately want to move away from. And now they're going into high ticket as a career because it does have opportunity. Like, it is pretty freaking crazy if you think about it. Like, you can turn up, make fantastic money, do it from anywhere in the world, and you do not have to worry about all the other things that go along with being a business owner. Like, honestly, I wish I found it before I went into recruitment. I say this to Kris all the time. I would have crushed. I would have been a great setter. I know.
You would have been a killer.
Great setter. But no, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what else I can kind of add to that because I meet hundreds of people every week that are just like living their dream life, doing something they absolutely love.
Yeah.
And progressing their career and increasing their earnings. Most people that I know who have embarked on a high ticket career, it's an upward spiral. Their life just continues to get better.
Yeah. Actually, Matt Gate made a really good point this morning. Often in this space as well, you're around amazing people. So if you're selling on an offer, you're selling on a coaching offer, you're going to be around a coach who's changing people's lives. So I find that a lot of people kind of start in high ticket and then they go on this huge personal development journey because they're just around people who are becoming better.
Yeah. It's lifestyle by design. Like, there's no reason for you to get sick of it. Like, why can't it be a career? That's how I'd sort of challenge it too. You know what I mean? Like, everyone gets to the point where there's something going wrong in their life. It's like relationships, or I'm overweight, or I'm stuck at the 9 to 5. But this, you can just keep changing. You can literally have that awareness. Okay, I want to earn less so I can spend more time with the kids. Make that change. Have the conversation. It can literally be done within 2 days. It's not like 3-month notice period and wait for long service leave and all the rest of it. Or you could be like, hey, I'm an A-grade closer, I'm making 40K a month, but I've put on 20 kilos over the last 12 months and I don't want that to be me anymore. So what am I going to do? I might go back to closing or change the offer or whatever, or get into account management. I'm going to sell some people and handhold them through it, or get into an offer that's going to inspire me where you've got to have a strong BMI or something to be a part of the team. But you can literally just shift it and just keep it interesting. You know what I mean? Whether it's going setting into hybrid closing, into sales management or account management, or become a consultant yourself because
Coaching, even.
Yeah, so it's just all there and it's just going to keep going. That's like the exciting thing as well. It's like just very much getting started in Australia in particular. So if you've got that awareness, if you've got goals too, well, again, there's different lanes to goals. It's usually money, lifestyle, getting ahead. Everyone categorizes in different ways. You can keep shifting and it's not a big deal. It's not like you're shackled to this and you got to stay on that road for the next 5 years. And that's why people, when they get into it, they stay. They might say, it starts as a side hustle and see where it goes. But a lot of the time, rather than, inflation, whatever, 4.6%, you'll be lucky to get a pay increase where you're going to even offset that, whereas like while I'm in the space, all the time your earnings going up 20% a year. So you're making more at a rate that's higher than inflation.
It's also because your skill set's going up. So each year your experience and skill set's going up, which means your earning potential. If your skill set goes up 20%, your earning potential could go 20% or even more.
Yeah. So it just keeps going and it keeps going. It's like, what else is new? It just gives you so much capacity to be like the bandwidth of what else do I want from life. Whereas a lot of offices, you can't do that. It's head down, bum up, go, 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 go.
Gunning to be a CEO in 5 years.
Yeah, whatever it is. But this, you can just, lifestyle by design, your own architect, and you can just continue to review, reflect, have those relationships with your coworkers or boss or however you sort of got the arrangement to keep tweaking it and keep it engaging.
Well, that brings us to that's our final misconception for the high ticket sales. Hopefully we've cleared that up for the listeners and
some myths for people out there.
Yeah, we could call this
fallacies or something. Yeah,
the Mythbuster episode for high ticket sales. So hope it was valuable, team, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, man.